University Park regular board meeting is called to order. Roll call, please.
Trustee Williams? Here. Trustee Wilson? Here. Trustee Brooks? Trustee McMullen?
Present.
Trustee Payton? Trustee Austin Brown? Mayor Covington?
Present. I was called, there are two that's out. Trustee Mildred Payton is out sick, and so is Trustee Theo Brooks. Would you all join me with the pledge of allegiance? To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Is there a motion for approval of the meeting for October 10th, 2017? Moved by Trustee McMullen, second. The minutes, is there a second? The minutes. The minutes, do a second. Okay. So that's it.
I move to table the minutes to the next board meeting, please.
Is there a second for table? Second by Trustee Williams. Roll call, please, the second minutes.
Trustee Williams? Aye. Trustee Wilson? Aye. Trustee McMullen?
Aye.
Mayor Covington?
Aye. Thank you.
Minutes taken.
Okay. General public?
Visitors are always welcome to all public meetings of the Board of Trustees. To comment on an issue, persons wishing to speak will be called upon by the mayor during section E, general public comment. The interested party will stand, identify themselves, and make their comment. In order to give proper consideration to all items on this agenda, the mayor will limit participants in a debate and will close off protracted, repetitive, irrelevant, or abusive remarks.
Thank you. Mr. Donald Washington?
Hello.
No.
Hello, I'm Donald Washington. I'm a resident. I live in Oakside. And I wanted to know, what are we doing to bring businesses to the Village of University Park? The problem that I have is that we allow everybody to come inside of our community and take all the money out of our community. Every one of our businesses is a foreign-owned business. And they don't live in the community, so therefore they don't pay taxes in our community. They don't hire from the community, and they don't shop in the community. So, and what happens? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna request a phrase.
Sure.
I want to know what we're doing to bring businesses to our community, because what happens is that University Park, we don't own any of the businesses in our community, and what happens is that foreign-owned businesses from Tinley Park, from Orland Park, come inside of our community. They don't shop in the community, they don't live in the community, so they're not paying any taxes in the community, and most of them don't hire from the community. So what happens is it leaves our children unemployed because they can't go to the corner store and get a job. Every corner store is foreign-owned. That's from Tinley Park. So they are left to stand on the corner, sell drugs, and then when more crime goes up, our property value in the community, our property value goes down. So what are we doing to bring businesses to our community that live in the community is what I want to know. Like, for instance, RY Management, where I live in Oakside. We have a management company that doesn't live in the community, that doesn't shop in the community, and they hire all foreign workers to cut the grass and do all the maintenance work. Meanwhile, there's somebody down the street that's unemployed from University Park that's looking to rob my house because he can't find a job. But We allow everybody to come in our community, make millions, and go back to Tinley Park into where we don't benefit from none of these businesses at all.
Thank you, Mr. Washington. I appreciate you coming with your calls. We have talked before, and I will tell you and invite you to come to my office on Friday. This Friday, if you'd like to make an appointment, and we can go into depth on that. But right now, I'll tell you, I'm really happy you said that because I attended a seminar last week with Chief and I, and they talked about it. It was given by the Metropolitan Mayors and Managers, and it was the instructors were from the National League of Cities. And that is the main thing that we talk about. We have an organization called South Regional Black Mayors. We have discussed that multiple times. We are redlined, unfortunately, and people have a reason they don't come here. We've been trying to recruit them. We've gone to Vegas and tried to recruit companies and businesses here. We have a GS system right now that we're about to upload on our website that will invite people if they're interested in any land or any businesses. And we do have unfortunately, we do have a few people in the village that have landscaping business, PTL, and another Gabriel, and they do hire within the village, and they have hired some of our people, and we do use them. We've done everything we possibly can. I don't know how long you've been here, but the Dollar Store was the first one that we recruited to come here, and we're looking like, and now we did have the I-57. We're hoping, we're having a meeting, the board is having a meeting with them to bring businesses here. They have had great interest in the village, and we're meeting with them soon. I think November 4th, we'll be meeting with them to see the interest that they have had in the Village University Park. And I really appreciate that. And tonight we have something on our agenda about a bus service. That's one of the main things I've tried to do for about 4 years now, to bring a bus here for the village so that we can have 24-hour busing so our kids can't get out of the village and come into the village. A lot of people would come here, but there's no way out of here after 7 o'clock at night in our bus services. We don't have that pace, so I have that here on the docket tonight to entertain having a bus service to come to the Village University Park. And we are trying to do as much as we can out there. All the black mayors are working together to see why are we redlined. Why do they just want to bring nail shops or chicken places and that to our black areas?
Liquor store.
Yes, that's right. And we got church and liquor stores, and that's what everybody says. But we are trying to work on a plan to do better than that.
And so one thing is that if we do bring a liquor store to the community, it needs to be somebody that lives in the community, that shops in the community, that gives back and hires from the community. Right now, what a lot of black communities are doing is, for instance, in Richardson Park, we have a Chinese food spot. They have a Chinese food spot. They don't hire from the community. Right. They don't shop in the community, and therefore it doesn't benefit. And so now our young brothers and sisters are left to sell drugs and to break into each other's houses because they can't find a job within our own community because everything is foreign known in our own community. We allow everybody to come in our community, make millions, and go back to their community, which makes absolutely no sense.
And again, State Representative Brown Kelly is about to have a job fair. And like I said, come to my office on Friday. I'm there all day, every Friday. You're more than welcome to have an offer. Often ask people to come have coffee with the mayor, and you're more than welcome this Friday, and I'll go into extensive explanations for you and see what we can do and you can help. But our areas right now, the chief has been reorganizing this area to see who's interested in some of these units, and some people have found interest to come. So we are working towards that.
Gotcha.
And thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Gina Williams.
Good evening, Mayor, trustees, department heads, and residents. I first would like to extend my condolences to the Larson family. He was a great man, a business owner, owned a lot of properties in our village, and was very kind and considerate. So my heart goes out to his sons and family and to our community on another great loss. I'm so glad to see Donald here today, and what he said made a lot of sense because we do need to move the village forward. We just recently, well, It came across on Nextdoor, the social website, about the PACE bus. And before it could even get off the ground, we have certain people that are here, even in this audience, that are trying to tear it down and come against it. But see, their biggest reason is because they don't want the mayor to shine. They don't want to see her get any type of attributes. You're hurting us. You're not hurting her. We need that bus. I rode the train for over 30 years. And let me tell you, it is a pain in the butt when you miss that last train. When Metro breaks down during those winter months, you're stuck. And for years, we didn't have cell phones. So you had one little pay phone down there that you had to run downstairs, make the call, run back upstairs, wait for your cab, run back down there praying that the person didn't come and leave because you're running back down there to see what's taking them so long. There are women and children. I remember when Miss Griffin came here and complained. So we need that bus. We need to have around-the-clock service so people can get to other parts of the village and go elsewhere. We need it because this is a college town the last time I checked. So we need that opportunity. So I'm just tired of the haters, the naysayers that don't want to ever see us go any further. You know what I want to say to y'all? Goodbye, hasta la vista, arrivederci, ciao, hit the road, Jack, and don't come back. If you don't like what you see, it's time to move on and leave. But stop trying to weigh us down that want to see something go forward. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of people that come here and we know that they're opportunists. They're looking for every word she says so they can run back and say, oh, well, this ain't right, this ain't right. That's nothing but the devil. And I'm going to call a spade a spade. You need to stop. You need to stop. Don't have me mention a person's name, because I will. And you want to have a conversation with me about what you want to share? Share about funds that came up missing, baseball money and other things that we still don't know to this day what happened. So please, don't get me started.
Ms. Williams. Okay, Ms. Williams.
Yes.
I just wanted to say that I don't have anything against the mayor. Nothing, never had.
Okay.
The thing about this bus is we don't have any money. We don't have enough people to catch the bus for us to afford it. Okay? I understand exactly what you said. I've been in that same predicament that you're talking about and had to walk from there to my house. Okay? So, I understand what you're saying. Insurance we had to pay. We had to pay for people that get hurt. We don't have money. We just don't have it. And there's not enough people that rides that bus to pay for that bus. So I don't want you to think about, I don't know about anybody else. I can only speak for myself. I'm not doing this because I have something against her. So I don't want you to think that.
I understand that, but had you ever thought
Ms. Wells,
that maybe
just a second, let me handle it, okay?
But maybe if we have the bus service, more people will come to the community?
Ms. Williams, we can't have back and forth. Once you make your statement, you have to take a seat.
Madam Mayor, I ask to be recognized at this time.
Okay, she's still talking. Make sure that,
Okay.
are you complete? Okay, trustee?
I was going to wait till we arrive at this item on the agenda. However, since the conversation has started regarding this topic, I will go ahead and make my comments now and my recommendation now. Ms. Williams in particular, an opinion, no matter if it's your opinion or the opposite opinion, does not make it evil or the devil or because we want someone to fail. There is a way people can disagree without being disagreeable. And I hope as I move through my next topics on why we should not have rent-paced buses at this current time, I hope that you understand. Trustee Williams is absolutely 100% correct. I don't know if we have an understanding or how many times we have to say this, but our funds are limited. We have to make payroll. We have streets to repair. We have parks to redo. We have a lot of things that need to be done within the Village University Park with limited resources, and we have to make the correct decision at all times. It's not easy. At times, you have to make the tough decision. You have to say no sometimes to some things, especially if it's wrong for you or for us at the time. I wasn't finished. If you're not continue. So that's the first thing, and my very first biggest reason, we are broke. We are broke. We have limited funds. We should not be endeavoring to create new programs at this time. Point number two, there is no plan. If we were to sign this agreement today, who is going to be the drivers? Because that costs money. What is the purpose for doing this other than accolades? There needs to be a purpose with your actions. Not doing actions to actions. I'm going to think it's Lou Holtz or John Wooden. He was the coach of UCLA. He said, don't mistake activity for action. We shouldn't be just engaging in activity for accolades. We should have a definite and direct purpose for everything that we do, especially now during this current financial situation. So those are my two big reasons why, when we arrive at this item, we should table it. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I think it's an excellent idea. However, we don't have money for excellent ideas. We have money for ideas with a purpose and a plan. None of which is apparent from what I see in this packet today. So when Madam Mayor, I would make this standing motion, unless others would like to comment. I know we're not there yet, but I guess when we get to this item, Madam Mayor, I would recommend that we table this item until January, the second board meeting in January.
Okay.
And during this time, we plan something.
Okay.
And we wait for our financials, and then we move forward.
Okay.
That's it. That's all.
Okay.
Since we're making remarks right now, I agree with my colleagues on many of the questions. So one of the questions I did have, because it was not in the packet, is where is the plan? Are we for certain that there is no plan, or have we just not seen it yet? So my recommendations, since we're putting out recommendations, will be, let's go through this, first reading, talk about it, all of us put our questions out, or send them the questions, instead of tabling this indefinitely. It's been trying to come around for some time. From my understanding, nobody has, a couple of us don't know the plan. Let's listen, let's ask for the plan. Mayor, if you have a plan, maybe she can share it. But if we knock it down before we even look at it, we don't have to vote on it tonight. We don't have to table it indefinitely. Let's listen. Let's put our heads together. We're supposed to be, and we'll hear later, I'm sure, why the budget isn't on the 1024 agenda, but we're supposed to review the budget shortly. Let's look at things. Let's have some open dialogue. Let's have some discussion. And let's do first readings, second readings, and third readings in accordance.
Can I ask a
Thank
question?
you for that.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Do anybody else pay PACE to come into their community? I think PACE pays itself. PACE hires its own bus drivers. Why do we, as this community, have to pay PACE? Why do we have to pay for the drivers? PACE pays for the drivers. PACE pays for their buses. I don't see why our community should pay for this. That's what I have to say. That's what I have to
Okay, I thank each and every one of you. Very intelligent input, very worthy input. Now, I'll tell you what really happened. 4 years ago, and I think it's since the 70s, we've never had a shelter. Our shelters were very, very, very old. We had blind people. We have 2 blind people, I think, in the village. They used them, and children. They were extremely old, and because I'm on the planning, South Suburban Mayors and Managers Planning Committee, I talked to who's in the audience is PACE, IDOT, CMAP, engineers, and the likes in Metro, and PACE. So, with thanking God for that opportunity, I brought the shelters. I inquired about new shelters. They brought new shelters. I said, how much would it cost the village to have new shelters? Absolutely nothing. I said, okay, while we're at it, can I add some garbage cans? So, because people don't, they always trash it. They said, yeah, no problem there. Then I said, with the advertisement that you have, that you put in the shelters, what does that do? It generates revenue, okay? It generates revenue. I asked them, would you please put them in? Yes. They say, Mayor, did you know you can also get buses? Let me see, it's a few villages around here that do use that shelter. They use the buses as well. They have the bus service. And they said, I'll bring them here. I'll train your people. I'll clean them up. We'll keep them clean. If you'd like to do that. And the reason I said that is because after 7 o'clock, there's no bus transportation. And this cab service charges us $20 and up for the same price you pay for $2 in the morning. And also, well, I won't go into the details, they're questionable. And there's been police reports with them. So I thought, and I've had a lot of complaints from Industrial Park as well about the people getting off the Metro, and I see them myself walking back there. And the people on Cicero have no way of transportation. So I did a survey 4 years ago, and it was fantastic. The people in Industrial Park was more than happy to adopt it. They said they would sell the passes and then get it from the Village University Park, which would generate revenue again. Those advertisements that you see in there, they change out, brings us money. At that time, I was a trustee and I asked the administration, would you please earmark those dollars for the bus program? We sat down in my office and there was a schedule made. They said you can make your own signs, you can make your hours, and we would have 24 hours, 7 days a week. I said we'll do a pilot program. The buses are, and you can write it down because you're taking notes, please take this one correctly, $100 per bus. I said we'll do a pilot program with 2 buses. That way our children will be able to get in and out of the village with summer jobs and come in and out. The people in Industrial Park would be able to get back and forth to the Metro. Some of us, if our cars break down, we would have another option for transportation. There was a schedule made, there was paperwork done, and because it was downplayed and it was voted down, it was gone. But I asked for every dollar. We just this year got $7,000. Year before that, $14,000. I asked to earmark that money for the program. So we would have about maybe 40 or 50,000. Is that money earmarked? That's how we would pay for the service and the drivers. It was going to be on a part-time basis with people that already work in the village. There was a plan. Where it's at right now, I gave it to the administration. There was a plan. So I talked to the trustees. Thank God we have trustees that communicate with me beautifully now. And they said, well, I want to do a first on it, Mayor. I've read it and I would like to do a first reading on it. And they did. I said, that would be fine. And then you can see the plan. But the monies that was collected from those base shelters was supposed to have been earmarked. What they did, if they did not earmark them, that's not my problem. And it's not my fault. It was supposed to have been earmarked. So if they didn't, that's where the money was. That's what the money was going to do, the function, the process of those buses. There are people that complain to me all the time. Why can't we have a better bus service? PACE will not do that. So I figured if we could do it with 2 little buses, it wasn't going to be a huge bus, just a small bus like we have for Park and Rec, it would work just to try it out to see if it would work. So all the paperwork was done, set up, and then I was going to bring it to this board to see if they would do it. But right now, we don't know how long the program is going to exist. That's why I was pushing to see if we can just get it started, and then we would have a workshop to go on to it even more. But right now, the way the funds are being cut from different programs, I figured we would adopt it now while the funds were available through the transit. So excuse me for trying to do anything aggressive. It's all about the people in this village. They complain the kids can't get around, the kids can't get out here to go to a part-time job. A lot of people don't have cars. And then also, the Southsburg Mayor Manager was sharing with us at the meeting Thursday night that a lot of people like to live in University Park, but they said there's no way of getting out. The transportation is bad. So that was just one of the remedies I thought would help. So you can
Madam
make a
Mayor,
choice.
could I be recognized one more time?
Yes, sir.
On this issue? But Madam Mayor, with all due respect, I think you're engaging in a false equivalency when you compare advertising on the shelters with a full bus service. Advertising as a plan is simple. You put up a shelter, you put up advertising, you take out one thing, you get money in return. That is a very simple concept. You're talking about an entire bus plan where there's no written plan. The first we're hearing, based on the packet that I'm looking at, there is nothing mentioned about the industrial park. There's also nothing mentioned about any Pacific industrial park. I'm not saying that it's not a good idea. I think it's an excellent idea, and that is actually a way to ensure that residents could get to the industrial park by having this private bus service, but you have to have both the industrial park employers sign on to it and employees to use it. But in order to do that, you have to have a plan. I would also recommend that whatever plan you have, it be written for us all to see. Similar to, I would say, a business plan. And so we would call this a program plan. And if we wrote out this program plan that we could then all see and communicate that effectively, then we can move forward with this plan. I would also point out one last thing. We do have bus shelters here, which I would assume means we already have bus service. That bus service is called the 367. So people do have access to University Park. We also have excellent transportation from our metro station, from here to Chicago. So I don't want the fallacy to be out there that we have no transportation out here in University Park. I just happened to be driving back from Chicago, taking care of some business. And I had to leave from the train terminal, and I remember taking that bus to Chicago quite a bit. And that was called the 352. Well, what I'm trying to tell you is if you want to get to University Park, if you want to do anything, that's the way to get it.
Thank you, and there is a plan, and it was shared, but they dismissed it. So we have a new board now, and I will ask them to pull that plan up again and show it. And yes, we do have a bus, but the bus, again, is limited to 7 o'clock at night. So after that time, you cannot, and I rode that bus over 10 years as well, and I'm very familiar with it. And I have walked from that train to my home. I have used it, and I have used that ridiculous cab that's overcharges our people. So I will take the advice of the board, because I respect them, and I will see, they have this plan again that was presented before. There was a plan in place, there was a route, there was everything laid out, but it was ignored. So I will see if they still have the plan, and we can do whatever you want to do tonight. And I would think that maybe the first reading would be a good idea, and then I could present it to you guys if they still have it in the records. Thank you very much. Star Lawson.
Thank you, Mayor, Board, to the department heads, and to the residents. I first want to say that it is in my character to be civil, because the art of self-respect and respecting others sometimes seems to be a lost art. But the art of knowing when to say or do certain things have been lost to the notion that anything goes, and it's permeating with our president. And so now it's trickling down to others. But in saying that, I want to say it is in my character to be civil towards this board and to those department heads and as well as residents. Trustee Wilson, I want to acknowledge that I was wrong in my allegation that you did nothing when we came back from the Congressional Black Caucus. And thank you for correcting me on that. Being that I made that statement publicly, I want to publicly apologize for making the statement. And I I think when we are wrong, we need to acknowledge that we are wrong and, make every crooked line straight. Amen. The other thing I wanted to say, when I come before this board, when I know, what times I am to speak, those are the times that I was speaking and none other. And so what happened at the last board meeting, the rules were changed that night. It is never my intentions to be disorderly in a board meeting. But that night, the rules were changed. And so I did not know that I could not speak to department heads. Had I known that, I would not have spoken out of place. So I say to the board and to the department heads that when I come before the board, or when I speak, I intend to do so in an orderly fashion. I do want to address the board in regards to the PACE bus. I had some questions. And I think sometimes we need to look at the attorney and say, what is your opinion or something about this. I think at some point we need to hear from the attorney. Is there anything legal? Is there, I don't know the questions to ask, but I think I do want to say in regards to this PACE bus thing, what it would cost the village and what the liability would be for the village in having this. In an effort to further coordinate the transit services in University Park, do we plan to add, I think that question was asked by Trustee Brown, do we plan to add to the service like going to the industrial park? I don't think it's a bad plan. And so, Mayor, I'm not hating on you. I have nothing but love for you. But I don't think it's at a point of hating, but I'm a resident here in this village. And I think when things concern me, this is the ideal place for me to come, right before this board and address my concerns. So, I want to know if any research has been done to support having this PACE bus. If there was a plan, why didn't this board have the plan prior to you putting it on the agenda? That would have been a great idea. How many people miss the bus on a daily basis? Has that been looked at? Would our village buses suffice as a shuttle bus until we're in a better financial position? This would still involve insurance. We have lawsuits looming, barely meeting payroll. Are we paying liability insurance for our own employees? I know you said that there's monies allocated and earmarked for this, but come on.